From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, April the 9th, 2025. The IDF continues its operation in Gaza, saying today locating and destroying tunnel shafts and dozens of terrorist infrastructures in the Rafah area. The IDF also said the Air Force hit more than 45 terrorist targets throughout the Gaza Strip in the past 24 hours, including a site for the production of weapons by terrorist organizations in Gaza and a launch site containing rockets ready to be launched into the country, as well as military buildings, weapons depots, and terrorist cells. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is back in Israel from his White House visit this week, which he called a very warm one. Netanyahu said there was closeness in the issues discussed with President Trump in the sit-down, including, he said, on Iran, saying, "We agree that Iran will not have nuclear weapons." Regarding Gaza, he said, "We are determined to eliminate Hamas, and at the same time, we are determined to return all of our hostages." The two also discussed Turkey. Netanyahu said Turkey wants to establish military bases in Syria, and this endangers Israel. And the fourth and last issue discussed, the prime minister said, the tariffs. Netanyahu saying President Trump has asked countries to reduce their trade deficits with the U.S. to zero. The prime minister told Trump, "We will do it." Well, just days after the sit-down between Trump and Netanyahu, where the president announced direct talks with Iran, the U.S. Department of the Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control said today that it was designating 5 entities and 1 individual based in Iran for their support to key entities that manage and oversee Iran's nuclear program, including the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran and its subordinate, Iran Centrifuge Technology Company, saying the action is taken in furtherance of U.S. policy that Iran be denied a nuclear weapon. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent saying the Iranian regime's reckless pursuit of nuclear weapons remains a grave threat to the United States and a menace to regional stability and global security. Bessent said Treasury will continue to leverage our tools and authorities to disrupt any attempt by Iran to advance its nuclear program and its broader destabilizing agenda. Well, 3 former hostages were honored last night at the National Republican Congressional Committee's President's Dinner in Washington. Keith Siegel and his wife Aviva Siegel and Yair Horn, who thanked the president for his efforts to bring them home and urged those efforts to continue. Yair Horn getting deeply emotional, speaking of his brother Eitan, who is still being held captive in Gaza, and the other brothers of other hostage family members who were present in the audience last night, calling for all of them to be returned home now.
We are thankful. We are really thankful, but humbly we ask for more. The last push, the last 59 people, the last 59 hostages, among them my brother Eitan, and what is Liran brothers, Zivi and Gali and Eviatar, all the brothers, all the families. In a few days we mark the Passover, right? Pesach. It's a family time. So I expect that in the next Seder, when my mother make the kneidalach, the matzah balls, that my brother Eitan, my little brother, who I call little, but he's 38, but it's my little brother. I hope he can sit with us in the Seder of Passover And wow, it's overwhelming. I just want to tell you again, thank you. Thank you very much.
The 59 hostages who remain held captive by terror group Hamas in Gaza have now been held for 551 days. Israel's ambassador to the United Nations, Danny Danon, held a joint Passover Seder at the UN last night with ambassadors from across the globe, and the urgent matter of the hostages were front and center. Danon saying we will continue to work for the Jewish people and for the legitimacy of Israel on the world stage, and to work and pray for the immediate release of the kidnapped. Danon spoke at the Seder, which celebrates the liberation of the Jewish people from slavery to freedom, of the sentence that is uttered and so central to the Passover story.
Let my people go. That phrase has become a battle cry for the Jewish people throughout our history. As we sit here today celebrating the story of our people's liberation, we do so with full awareness and sadness that not everyone is free.
Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Wednesday, April the 9th at 7 o'clock. David Harris offers timely reflections for Passover, drawing on the holiday's enduring themes of freedom, resilience, and Jewish identity to speak to this complex moment in Jewish life. At 7:30, Rabbi Ammiel Hirsch delivers a sermon urging American Jews to respond to today's challenges, not with despair, but with action, embracing the Jewish imperative of tikkun olam, repairing the world. At 8, Dr. Ilana Horwitz, Assistant Professor of Jewish Studies and Sociology at Tulane, examines how religion can complement education. At 9, it's an introduction to the meaning of the Passover holiday and the symbols of the Seder service, with JBS founder, the late Rabbi Mark S. Golub. And then Rabbi Irving Yitz Greenberg discusses the meaning of Passover on L'chaim. At 10, it's a replay of Rabbi Hirsch. At 10:30, an encore of the news. And coming up next, it's Thinking Out Loud. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, April the 9th, 2025. I'm Teisha Bader. Am Yisrael Chai.